You are walking a path you have walked before. Something moves in the brush to your left, something heavy. It is going away from you fast, and it is gone before you finish turning your head. You never see it, you never find out what it was, but it saw you. It saw you a long time before you got there. And here is the strange part: you have no claws. You are not fast. You could not have caught it if you had tried, and it could almost certainly have killed you. It ran anyway. So, what does it know about you that you don't? Let's be honest about what you actually are. A bear would win. It would not be close. You are slower than almost everything in that forest. You are weaker than most of it. Your skin tears, and you are not carrying anything that would change the outcome. A moose can kill a person. A boar can kill a person. So can a big cat, and every so often, one does. You are not a frightening animal. In a fight on that path, over 10 seconds, you lose. And every one of them still leaves before you arrive. That is the thing worth explaining. Not that animals fear predators. Of course they do. The strange part is that the most feared thing in almost every landscape on Earth is a soft, slow primate that would lose the fight. To understand why, you have to start with a number every prey animal on Earth is carrying around. Every animal that gets eaten runs the same calculation, constantly, without thinking about it. It is measuring distance. How close can that thing get before I have to spend energy running? Biologists have a name for it: flight initiation distance. It is just the point where an animal stops watching and starts moving. Every prey animal has one, and it is tuned. Too twitchy and you starve because you spend your life running from nothing. Too calm and you get eaten. So the number gets set over generations by everything that goes wrong. And it works because every predator on Earth has a matching number, the point where it stops chasing. A lion charges, and if you clear enough ground, the lion stops. It has to. That sprint costs more than it can afford to waste. A crocodile lunges from the water, and 4 steps inland, you are simply not worth the trip. A wolf pack tests a herd, picks the weak one, and lets the rest go. Get past the line, and the danger ends. That is the deal. That is how being prey has worked for as long as there has been prey. Then something arrived that did not have a line, and it was not strength, it was not teeth, it was the least frightening thing imaginable. It was that we do not stop. Most animals that run hard cool themselves by panting. And here is the catch: a horse at full gallop cannot pant. The way a galloping body moves, its own organs are pushing on its lungs. Its breathing gets locked to its stride. The faster it goes, the less it can do about the heat it is making. You are not built like that. You have around 2 million sweat glands spread over skin that lost most of its hair, and they work while you move. You are a body running the engine and the cooling system at the same time. Almost nothing else can. So here is what that buys. You cannot outrun a deer. You do not try. You pick one and you walk after it. It runs, and it gets ahead, and it stops to cool down. You arrive. It runs again. It gets less far this time. You arrive again. This is not a theory about the past. It was still being done in the 20th century, and someone recorded it. Louis Liebenberg spent years in the central Kalahari with Zan and Gui hunters and documented them running down kudu on foot. 2 to 5 hours, 25 to 35 kilometers, in temperatures around 40 degrees. The animal does not get caught. It overheats and stops, and the hunter walks up to something that could have destroyed him in any 10 seconds of that entire day. Now imagine being on the other end of it. You are faster, you are stronger, you are better armed, and the thing that kills you is the one that would not stop coming. There is no distance that works. Every other predator on Earth has a point where it gives up. We are the only animal that never had one. You already know this about your own body, by the way. You have been annoyed by it your whole life. You sweat walking to the car. That is the machinery. You are carrying the single most dangerous adaptation in the history of the animal kingdom, and mostly it just ruins your shirt. But endurance only explains how we caught them. It does not explain the deer on your path, because that deer has never been hunted. Neither had its mother. Nobody in that forest has ever seen a spear, and most of them have never seen a person up close. The fear is not theirs. They did not learn it. It was installed. Here is how something like that gets written in. An animal that stood its ground against people did not usually live to have many young. An animal that left early, at a silhouette, at a smell, at a sound half a mile off, lived and bred, and its young inherited a slightly lower threshold. That is all it takes. You are not teaching a lesson. You are removing everyone who does not already agree with you. Do that for 10,000 generations, and the fear stops being a decision. The line moves permanently. The animal is born knowing. And that is why a fawn that has never encountered a human being will bolt from the shape of one. It is not reacting to you. It is running a setting, and the setting was written by people who died 40,000 years ago. That is the part worth sitting with. The fear is not yours. You inherited being feared the same way it inherited being afraid. Neither of you did anything. In 2023, a team led by Liana Zanet and Michael Clinchy went into the Greater Kruger region of South Africa, which holds one of the largest lion populations left on Earth. They hid speakers and cameras at waterholes, the places every animal has to come to, and the places they are most exposed. Then they waited. When an animal came down to drink, the speaker played it something. Sometimes lions, growling and snarling, the real thing. Sometimes dogs barking, sometimes gunshots, sometimes birdsong as a control, and sometimes people just talking quietly, in ordinary conversation. They recorded over 4,000 visits at 21 waterholes from 18 species. Elephants, rhinos, giraffes, leopards, hyenas, zebras, kudu, warthog, impala. 95% of those species ran more often or abandoned the water faster for the human voices than for the lions. And they gave up the waterhole 40% faster. Not the gunshots, not the dogs, people talking. Sit with that, because it is easy to skim past. In a landscape that still has lions in it, the animals have worked out that the lions are the smaller problem. They are not afraid of your body. They are afraid of what happened to everything that wasn't. And you kept your half of it too. You still check behind you on a dark path. Nothing has hunted you in 1,000 generations, and you still do it, every time, without deciding to. But being feared changes an animal's habits. It turns out it also changes its hours. Because if the most dangerous thing in your world is awake during the day, there is one obvious move available to you. Stop being awake during the day. In 2018, a group led by Caitlin Gaynor at Berkeley gathered 76 separate studies covering 62 mammal species across 6 continents: deer, boar, bears, tigers, elephants, and compared how those animals spent their day, where people were common, against where people were not. The animals had moved into the night. Take a species that had been splitting its life evenly between daylight and dark. Around people, it shifted to spending 68% of its life in the dark. 83% of the animals studied did this. And here is the detail that should land. It was not only happening where they were hunted, it happened where people were simply present, hiking, farming, driving, living. Hikers moved animals into the night about as well as hunters did. They are not adjusting to being killed. They are adjusting to being near us. Think about what that costs. An animal built for daylight has to hunt, feed, find water, and raise young in conditions its eyes were never designed for. It is a worse life. They are taking it anyway, because the alternative is sharing an afternoon with you. You have never done anything to them. You are just there, and that turned out to be enough. So the trail you were walking is quiet, and now you know why. But look at what that actually means, because it is not flattering. You never earned it. You have never hunted anything. You would not know how. The animal that left the path before you got there was not responding to you at all. It was responding to a reputation built by people whose names are gone, whose language is gone, and who would not recognize a single thing about your life. You inherited the reputation. You did not do anything to deserve the peace it buys you. Run it both directions, and you can see the whole arrangement. Put yourself in their world. Drop you into the Pleistocene alone, tonight, with nothing. You would not find water. You would not know which plants were food. You would not be able to make fire, or a blade, or a shelter that held. And every night, the calculation the deer runs would be running in you, because you would be the one being measured. You would not last the week. Now bring them into yours. But there is a better version of that, because it exists. It is real, and you can go and look at it. There are places where the arrangement was never made. Islands, mostly, that people reached late or never at all. And on those islands, the animals are not afraid of you. When Charles Darwin landed in the Galapagos in September of 1835, he could not get the birds to leave. They sat there. He wrote that people knocked them off branches with a hat or a switch, and Darwin himself walked up to a hawk, a bird of prey, a predator, put the muzzle of his gun against it, and pushed it off its branch. It did not understand what he was. They were not tame, and they were not stupid. Nothing had ever taught their ancestors, so they had nothing to inherit. That is what the world looks like without us in it. And it is the only place left on Earth where you are not the frightening thing. So the next time something leaves the brush before you see it, understand what just happened. An animal that has never met a person made a decision about you before you arrived, using information it was born with, in a language of distance, written by people you will never know anything about. They could not tell their children what they had learned. They had no words that would last. So they did the only thing that works over that kind of time. They made every animal on Earth flinch at the shape of us, and they left the message in the animals themselves. You have been reading it your whole life. You just thought the woods were empty.